All right, guys, I just want to give you a few tips I'd like to point out and some things that I do slightly different than the fueling instructions. Fueling will have you put moly lube on these small retention screws and the oil pump screws. And the reason that is, guys come along, they load the screws, threads with a lot of Loctite. It's too much, it gets in places it shouldn't. You may not get a correct torque because it's kind of pinching or impeding the part from being where it's supposed to be positioned. But I personally have had more than a few where I've seen these screws start to come loose, especially around the pump. So what I do is I make sure everything's cleaned really well. I put a little oil under the head of each bolt, make sure the threads are clean, and then I put some blue Loctite just on the first 4 threads of the bolt, and then I'll give it a little wipe so there's not too much Loctite there. You'll also notice I only very lightly put 2 of the long Allen oil pump screws in, backed them off, touched them till they were just barely touching the cam plate. Then I install the plate, I rotate the engine for alignment, I loosen those screws, I align it again, and then I put the 12-point screws, 2 of them in, rotate, torque, and then remove the 2 Allens and then put the other 2 12 points in. It just works best for me. You'll also notice we did to make sure gears were aligned properly within 10,000, so we did that with our straight edge. That's pretty much it. One thing I didn't show you was installing the Torrington full complement cam bearings. We get rid of the stock INAs with the, they kind of skip a bearing, they're not touching each other, and the cages, they're separated by a cage and the cages break. They're not good. You can't run them with a performance cam, you're just heading for trouble. Same with stock tappets. I don't recommend them. I always either use Fueling, S&S, Gyms, and just don't run stock tappets because that's another weak link in a cam job. What else? I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing really major going on. It's pretty straightforward. I just do vary a little bit on what Fueling says, and that's just because of experience and what I've seen during teardowns. So it works for me. Hopefully it'll work for you, and let's continue putting this back together. All right, we're ready to install our one-piece tapered push rods. You can see I've pre-marked them. The exhausts are slightly longer, so you want to make sure you put the exhaust in the proper place and the shorter intakes in the proper place. Also picked up some new gaskets because I was out, the rocker gaskets, the Harley ones. These are the metal with the rubber coating on them. These are the best. I would highly suggest these. If you use the ones that come in the kit, yes, it's a metal gasket, but these will end up leaking, especially, they usually start leaking around 10,000 miles. I usually see them start to weep. I recommend if you have no other choice, I would use some gasket cinch on these or some Hylomar. Hylomar is a product that was designed for Rolls-Royce. You put just a thin coating on, not silicone. I'm not talking about that. That's just, you would actually brush on the Hylomar. I don't even tend to use the tubes for this. I use the brush equivalent of Hylomar. And that'll put like a rubber coating on it for you. But if you can get the updated Harley ones, they're the best ones to use. We're gonna get wrapping this thing up here and get the engine finished up, get on the other side, get the Barnett clutch in, and then we'll get our Thunder Max, the exhaust on, and we're gonna throw it on the dyno. And kind of a cool note here, you see these bolts with the Allen in the middle? A lot of people think that was a Harley design. It wasn't. It was a Harley enthusiast. I don't know if he was a tool maker, an engineer, whatever, but he came up with this bolt, this design. He actually gave the rights to Harley-Davidson. He didn't charge him for it. I think that's pretty cool. Just another quick note, you notice when I assembled the rocker box, I put in 4 of the outer screws in loosely, and then I have these tapered screws that actually keep the rocker box aligned while I'm torquing it down. I think I got these from gyms. I've had them for years. They're pretty well worn. But again, takes a little more time, but well worth it. Keeps the rocker box aligned, and a lot of guys, when they go to tighten these, even if they use a cross pattern, it will always push itself this way because it's kind of a wedge shape. So it'll move to the outside. And then you get a lot of overhang here. This keeps the gasket nice, keeps the rocker box nice and even, and less problems with leaks. So yeah, a little more time, but just kind of how it goes. You also notice when you're using any type of crow's foot or torque extension, you want to make sure you go at 90 degrees. If you were to do it like this, obviously you'll have to use what's called a torque multiplier to figure out how much more torque you're putting on the bolt. So 90 degrees, you're good to go. If not, torque multiplier. All right, guys, we are finished. Our 2011 Road Glide with the Feuling cam plate and oil pump with the 574 Reaper cams. We have our Chromeworks mufflers, and we have a Cobra front head pipe. Now, the reason I had to go with the Cobra in the front, I wanted to do Chromeworks, but again, they're on back order as usual. It's kind of a hassle when they tell you they're going to be about 2 months out, but I guess that's a sign that the company just can't keep up with production. They are, I mean, I really do like their systems. And by the way, they do the finishes for Harley's exhaust, like the black and the chrome. So that's why if you buy a Chromeworks system, and let's say you have Harley stock black exhaust system, it will actually match. It'll match nicely. So if you're just going with the mufflers and you don't do the head pipe. Anyway, Thundermax is in. I have refined the map some. And S&S air cleaner with the stock cover, kind of a stealthy little thing, and we'll fire it up here. It's got that nice Harley thump back. You just don't have that with the stock cams, especially on the M8s. The twin cams, it's bad enough, but the M8s, it's really bad. And we get everything linked up here. The AFRs are coming in nicely over here on the screen, and I like to monitor RPM, temperature, and the fuel flow at 1024. Then we'll go out, ride it. I may have to play with the timing a little bit like I've already done, but I've done so many of these, I can get them pretty close just on the bench. We'll take it out, road test it. Most likely won't have to put it on the dyno. All right, that's it. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Bill on Bikes. This 2011 Road Glide is going to have probably a very happy customer, and he'll have it for the weekend. So I'm done. I'm going to wrap it up. It's getting late here in Phoenix, and make sure you like and subscribe, please, over on Facebook on Bill on Bikes, and of course YouTube Bill on Bikes. I really appreciate the comments, so keep them coming. And we have some really cool projects coming in the near future, so stay tuned. See you next time.